What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody is having a great Victory Monday. And this is a funny thing they say: if you don't like the weather in Virginia, just wait 24 hours and it'll change. Yesterday it was sleeting, snow, freezing rain, and all that, and about 28 degrees or so. Today it's about 45, and it's a little bit of rain, but it's definitely a lot warmer than it was. And come tomorrow, it's going to be 60 and sunny. So go figure. It blows my mind. That's an electric school bus. The electric vehicle. It freaks me out still. I feel like it's a futuristic movie or something or other. Anyway, on this Victory Monday, where the Dallas Cowboys have won 3 of their last 4, it sounds like, if you've been listening for the last couple of weeks when we were on the 2-game win streak, that Mike McCarthy and crew were coming back. Okay? Whether you think that's a good idea or a bad idea, the thing that the Cowboys can't afford to do, okay, the things I feel they can't afford to do, that hamstrings this team, is they forever take to make a decision. You can't do business like that, okay? If you're going to fire Mike McCarthy, okay, just give me, if you're going to do that, don't waste your time. After we play the Commanders Monday, come out and say, Mike McCarthy, we're giving him an extension, we're keeping him. Or we're moving on. I don't care which way you go. I don't care which way you go. Just do it. Get it done. Hire the next guy. I don't care who it is. Just do the moves quickly. Well, I do care who it is, but you understand what I'm saying, is waiting to fire him is more time that we lose on getting a philosophy together. And quite frankly, I think at this moment, because the team has seemingly weathered so many injuries, I'm not saying we've weathered it and we're going to the playoffs, but the fact that they're still staying together and seemingly beginning to improve, that still speaks well for what you have. Whether you think Mike McCarthy's an idiot or not, having Overshown for the whole season, having a healthy Diggs, having a Sam Williams, a DeMarcus Lawrence, a healthy Zach Martin would get you a few more wins, and possibly you're in the postseason. And at this point, you are making some good things that are happening. So that's one thing they can't afford to do. If you're going to hire a new coach, by all means, go ahead and do it. Just don't wait. Second thing, you're going to have to understand that you're going to have to spend some money on some of your own people. There's 2 guys, and I did a video earlier about Osa and Digazua. The Cowboys have had problems on the defensive front. Osa has been one of the most consistent players that we've had on the defensive line, but typically when they play well, and it's that contract time, the Cowboys look and say, we don't need no stinking interior defensive lineman. We'll just trade for our Jordan Phillips and things. Or we'll go ahead and get some Dontari Poes, some guys that are dirt cheap, and throw them in there. And mind you, both of those 2 guys blew up in their face instead of paying their own guys. You look at what Dante Fowler is doing right now for Washington. Yeah, double-digit sacks. Yeah, that guy. Used to be here, but they didn't want to pay him because, of course, they're cheap. So you have to understand, there's some players here that your number 1 team leader has kind of gone on through and talks about wanting those players, needing those players back. My success is predicated on these guys we have around it. He recognizes that. Let's hope Catboy does. And Rico may be another one of those guys too, because Rico is a free agent as well. And so you look at how he's been able to thrive actually getting the football more than he did early in the season. Early in the season, it's amazing that he has 888 yards right now, considering that early in the season he never got to double-digit carries until week number 4. And then there was a week where he was literally put on ice so we could check out Dalvin Cook. That it's just been recently that he's had carries. And what we're learning about Rico is it seems like the more carries he gets, like Zeke used to be, the better he is in the second half. And mind you, the 392 yards he's had in the last 4 games is the most in the last 3 games of any running back in football. And that's a guy that the Cowboys probably won't want to pay because they're cheap. But Rico has stayed healthy this season and seems to be able to carry more of a load than Tony Pollard was. Tony Pollard, great outside receiving running back, great in space, but not between the tackles. It literally wore him down. And finally, the thing that the Cowboys can't do, which kind of piggies back off of the first thing, is we got to stop waiting to get things done. We have to stop waiting to get the contract signed. This whole crap of getting them done in training camp or after training camp, you can look at this and there's a direct correlation to having problems with the players being injured because they're missing training camp. And it's stunning their seasons. We did this with Demarcus Lawrence. We waited till he got to the point of saying, I was franchise tagged. I'm not getting my shoulder worked on until I get a contract. In which case, it was end of May when he got his rotator cuff worked on and was unable to lift weights all off season and starts the season basically with no strength in his arm, which ended up leading to a bad season. We saw about Zeke Elliott. He's out in Cabo running on the beach, and the Cowboys are saying, we're not going to reset the market. We're going to be prudent about paying him. And you reset the market. And then you get CeeDee Lamb done after training camp this year, and he ends up starting off slow. And the team and the offense starts off slow, not on the same page because they didn't practice together. Waiting to get these contracts done, it hasn't saved you any money because each one of these ones, including Dax, highest paid player in the NFL. CeeDee Lamb, second highest non-paid quarterback in the NFL. At the time, D-Law, one of the highest paid. Zeke Elliott, one of the highest paid running backs in football. You cannot do this with Micah Parsons. You can't. He's about to have his first 4 years double-digit sacks. The whole thing that we had, at least initially, especially the beginning of the season when he had Big Play Slay on his show and his podcast, and he's kind of throwing shade at Mike McCarthy and Dak and everything else, that seems to evolve. And it seems like since he was injured, he's done a lot of growing up. If you're going to keep him, get the deal done. Because as we sit here today, his contract number is $21 million for next year on the 5th-year option. Now the Cowboys, of course, they look at that and say, oh, well, we don't have to be in a rush to get him signed because we got another year. Yeah, but here's the thing. If you go ahead and get his long-term contract done, you'll save about $10 million in the cap. Yeah, you did with CeeDee Lamb. The thing is you weren't able to do anything with it because all the moves were already made. Now, the nice thing is we have that extra cap room. We have more cap money now than basically all season. Most of the off season, we had like $6 or $8 million to work with. We've got like 22 right now because we got Dak and CD's deal done. If you get Micah's deal done, you can lessen his hit $10, $12 million. That's 10 or 12 million dollars right there. That's 10 or 12 million dollars right there that help you to get Rico back and Osa Odighizuwa. That's got to be the mentality that the Cowboys have to be thinking. What moves can I make sooner than later that will help us to win? That, my friends, are the things that the Cowboys cannot afford not to do. You want to be a winning team next year? And I'm tired of us being talked about because we're dysfunctional. I want us to be talked about because we're actually winning and doing great things. There you have it. As always, I appreciate you guys. And you know what? What's cool is, I'm going to tell you what's cool. This has got nothing to do with the Cowboys, but I think it's cool. This house. I know you guys are sick of me talking about this mother humper, but this house, man, it's crazy. I had an incredible lady that I met, Sandra, who lost her husband about a year ago. He owned a plumbing company for about 40 years here in town. And what she's doing is she's getting she said he loved this house. She said he loved this house. Thinks that he did some work on the house in his time of being a plumber in town. She's getting a brick to put here to memorialize him, which is, to me, that's incredible. I mean, and I had somebody else comment that they're getting 2 bricks to honor their family members that have been lost as well. And I am truly honored that people want to go ahead and have their memories put here at the house. But Sandra, she said this post from Facebook from 10 years ago popped up, and it was about this house. And this house was featured in Abandoned in Virginia, which goes around and they find these old houses and places and things that have been abandoned. And so she said this popped up in my feed, and she said in it was a guy who used to live here, or his family used to live here. And so I sent a message to that person. The post was from 10 years ago, so I don't know if the person is still alive or still on Facebook or not. And I'm hoping that I actually hear from him, because what I really want to have is I would love to have some pictures, old pictures of this place, like with people who actually lived here and how it looked many, many years ago. Alrighty, good people. Later on, I'm going to be telling you some surprising things about Rico that are happening this season. And again, some of the reasons why the Cowboys need to go ahead and pay that guy. Peace.